Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt and welcome to another Minecraft tutorial. We are back working on this wonderful base of Mumbo Jumbos from Hermitcraft Season 7, and it's going to be a lot of progress in this video, a lot of progress. So let me give you the rundown of what we're going to be doing. So to begin with, we're going to be coming down here and we are going to be putting the floor in. We're going to be covering up all this grass and getting a nice wooden floor in here. Once we've done that, we are going to be working on the center here, getting those portals in. And once we've done the floor, we've done the portals, we need to get this whole area down here lit up. We're also doing the ceiling as well. So once we've done the floor, the portals, the ceiling, and all the lighting down there, that will completely finish off this bottom tier to the base. So then we'll be coming up to do some work on this upper tier. So we're going to put in the ceiling, the grass ceiling roof thing that Mumbo has up in this section. And then finally, to finish off, we will be putting in the displays that go in these big holes here. So the very first thing we want to do with today's build is take this floor here and we want to completely fill this in with jungle wood planks. So everything inside this lower section of the base that you can currently see as grass, that all needs to be jungle wood planks. Okay, so that is our floor done. On to the next bit. Obviously, I'm kidding. There is a lot more to do on the floor than this, but we are actually going to leave it just for now because before we build up the rest of the floor, we want to get the central section with those portals built up. And I'm afraid the first thing that we need to do is knock down some of these bits in the center. So unfortunately, when I did my episode, I can't remember which episode it was, whichever one it was, when we built up these stacks in the middle, I did not account for the fact that Mumbo came back and changed this because he built these before 1.16 came out. Then it came out, he built up his portals, and that resulted in these getting changed, which means we need to change them. Now, the easiest way I think I can explain what parts to change here, if you look at the front of these, so if you're looking into the center of the base at these pillars, come up to the top here, and you have like these three central bits, and then look at the ones just outside those. So these sections right here, you count down these bits where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks of smooth stone coming down from the ceiling. Find those bits. Everything that is below this line here, so from that block downwards, goes. So everything that is below that line gets cut out, everything above it stays. Okay, so once you've cut out all of those, assuming you had these built in the first place, you're going to be left with these bizarre looking things. So we're going to come back to those same 7 blocks that we just found. You have the 3 central blocks and then one more column out from that. These 7 blocks here, we're going to add in 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 blocks coming down from it like that. And then 1 block there and the same on the other side. And then that is it. We're leaving that as it is. So the next step with these central portals is to look at those bits that you've just built hanging down, come down to the floor and make sure you stood directly underneath them. So I'm looking straight up right now so I can see them stood directly under those hanging down bits that I just built. I'm going to build up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 underneath that one. Need gap 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 underneath that one. And then on the outside here, I'm going to put 2 up on that side and 2 on that side. And then I'm going to fill in this area between them like that and like that. This is what that should look like once you've done that for all 4 parts. And now we build our portals. So coming up to the inside of here, we want the portal to start at that level. So that is the bottom of the portal. Come out to this side. Obviously you don't actually need the corners with the obsidian. I'm just doing that because it's easiest for me here on creative mode. So you've got 5 obsidian going across at that level. And then we build up the sides. And I'll show you how far those go now. They come up that high. You will need to break just those bits of smooth stone there. So we come across like that. You should be able to see that top bit of obsidian and that bottom bit between the smooth stone there. And if you count here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of smooth stone left at the top there. So that is the height of your obsidian frames for your portals. And we go around and do that on all 4. Now for this clip, you may notice that I've filled my inventory there with a combination of polished blackstone and the polished blackstone bricks. So for anyone who is playing on PC, we're going to get our auto scroller on. There'll be a link in the description to where you can download one of those if you don't have one already. And in a diagonal line from our portals. We're going to fill this up all the way to this level with the ceiling and do that in all 4 of these gaps. Great, there we have those wall builds looking a lot more solid, as Mumbo would say. So now the last bit we need to do with these portals, obviously other than lighting them, is we need to do a little bit more work with smooth stone in a diagonal across here and a diagonal across the top there. So what we do is, first of all, we build a straight diagonal from that end block over to this one, and then one above them like so. And then the very last thing is to put 2 there and 2 there and 1 there and 1 there. So that's what the bottom will look like. And if we come up to the top, that's really simple. All we do is draw a zigzag like that going across the top. And now obviously we do that for all 4 of the sides. So that is that central section for the portals complete, other than lighting them up, of course. And what we're going to do now is a little bit more work on the floor. So we want to take some jungle slabs and we want to draw an octagon around the outside of this. Now don't worry too much about how precise this is, especially since we're going to be roughing up the edges of it a little bit once we've actually made it. But you want it very roughly to come to within about a block of these. So if you leave a diagonal block like that and then place that there and have that as the diagonal edge of that octagon, and then bring it so it's maybe about to 1 or 2 blocks into these walls here. So if that's maybe the edge there, let's say maybe 1 more, and draw it around like that. And I'll see you once I've drawn that outline for the octagon. Grand. So if I fly up here, you can kind of see that octagon from above, see the size of it, and that is about the size of the octagon you want. But you don't want it just to be an outline like this. You want it all filled in so it's coming right up to the edge of those stones there. So I'm going to go do that now. So that is that octagon filled in, but as it is, it kind of looks a little bit funny when it's just this plain, smooth, very neat octagon in the middle of this ruin. So we need to rough up the edges of this a little bit. So the way we're going to do that is very much like with the rest of the ruining. It's kind of at random. On these straight edges, we're going to have bits sticking out like this, maybe get a bit of an angle, a diagonal onto those as well, so they're not just sticking straight out. We can kind of cut back into it a little bit like this as well. Have another bit sticking out here maybe, like that, and then maybe have a bit coming out a straight diagonal from the edge there, like so. Have a little bit sticking out of there, have a little bit sticking out of this, a little bit sticking out of there maybe. And then on these diagonals, we can just do very small little bits, maybe like a couple of blocks in there, a couple of blocks in a bend in there, a little bit coming out here maybe, and so on. So just going to do this all the way around, very much at random, and we'll see how that looks once we've roughed up that edge a little bit more. And there you have it. Just by doing that one fairly simple change, that looks worlds better, because it means that you don't have this really defined edge between this part of the floor and this inner slightly raised up part of the floor. It makes it a bit more rugged and gradual, that change between the two, which makes it look a whole lot better. Now the next stage is up to you what order you do this in, but I would say it depends on whether you're doing this on creative or survival, what order you want to do this. If, like me, you're doing this on creative, I would come up here and I would fill in these gaps and finish off your ceiling first. However, if you're on survival, then as soon as you fill in that ceiling, it's going to get really dark down here and you're going to turn this whole bottom floor into a bit of a mob spawner. So if you're on survival, I would finish off the floor first, get it all lit up down here, and then once you've done that, then go up and do that ceiling. But of course, it is entirely up to you. If one way you have a reason works better than the other, go whichever way you want. So like I said, I am going to be starting with the ceiling here because I'm on creative. And what you need for that, you need these polished basalt, and you need, it doesn't have to be dirt, just any block you can use to place the basalt against. It doesn't matter what block it is, it's going to be hidden, you're not going to see it, so I'm just going to use dirt because it's quick and easy. Now for this hole, that one, and that one, we're going to be placing the basalt in a horizontal orientation like that. And then for these 4 smaller ones on the diagonal sides, we're going to be placing it kind of vertically on top of it like that. So that's what we need the dirt for. We're going to start with these ones, and we want to place the dirt at the edges like so, and then have those pieces of basalt coming across like that, so that you're looking in towards the center. That basalt is going to be going across. There we go. I've covered up that hole entirely. Obviously, I'm going to do the same with the others, but before I do that, let me show you how we cover up these ones. So for these ones, we want the dirt at a block high above it, so that when we place our basalt like that, it's going to be covering up at the same height as this. We need to completely cover this hole at this height with the dirt. And then once we've gone around and covered the whole thing, we come underneath and we place our basalt like that. So it's going to cover in the whole hole like that. And you can actually see that spiral circular pattern on the bottom of the basalt. And then on these ones, you can see those lines going across. So there we go. That is all completed. But you will see when we go down into the lower area now, it is very dark down there. So we need to get some work done on the floor and get it all lit up. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, obviously there's a little bit of light coming through from where it's open above the portal area and through these big doors here, but it is still very dark down there. And if I wasn't on peaceful mode right now, I would definitely be getting inundated with mobs. So we need to finish off this floor and get it all lit up. So from this stage we are currently at, there are 4 steps to making this floor look really, really good. I'm going to explain the steps. I'm going to show you like a little snippet of what each of those steps looks like, and then I'll do it across the whole floor and you can see what the finished result is. So the first step is in this outer area of the floor, the slightly lower down bit. You want to start knocking out some shapes like this, just random shapes knocked out from the floor, a bit over here, a bit over there maybe, and so on. And once you've knocked out those random shapes all over these bits, you put in these slabs underneath. So you add in even more texture than what we've already done to the floor. So once you've knocked out those parts of that floor, you're going to take some glowstone and you're going to start replacing sections of this lower floor with glowstone like so. Let's stick some over there. Let's see, stick some there. You want to make sure that you're never placing glowstone like that next to where these, because we are going to be covering this glowstone up, but if it's there, you're going to be able to see it. So don't place anything like that. Let's put those back up there. Where else can we put some glowstone? Put some glowstone there. Put some around here maybe. You can do this kind of down the diagonals as well if you want, but just make sure you get a decent amount of glowstone stuck into that floor so you start lighting up this area. So the third stage is then to cover up that glowstone, but obviously we can't cover it up with blocks because we want to actually be able to have the light coming through from that. So we're going to cover it up with spruce trapdoors, except that's not a trapdoor, that is a pressure plate. Like I was saying, we're going to cover it up with spruce trapdoors like that, cover those up. And you don't only have to cover up the glowstone, you can cover up a little bit more as well. You can make bigger shapes out of that trapdoors. And we're not just going to place spruce down, we're also just going to have a few oak trapdoors smattered around the place for a little bit more texture, a little bit more variety. Obviously they're not covering anything up because you can actually see through them. But yeah, just place a few like that. And then it's going to be starting to look like this. Obviously we can't see any of the glowstone, but we still have that light coming through from it. And then the fourth stage we have is with some jungle wood. Now I know I was calling this jungle wood, but that is actually jungle planks. That right there is jungle wood. So you want to take some of that and then just up the walls, start doing little bits. Now you want to be fairly conservative with this. Don't have like these growing absolutely everywhere, but just a few of these stuck around the place and maybe like a couple coming up in there and so on all the way around the edges of the walls to give this place a little bit more of an overgrown and ruined look. And there we have our completed floor. As you can see, it is so much brighter down here now. Obviously there are still a few dark patches, but we're going to deal with that in a second. There's still a little bit more lighting we need to do. But if you have a look around at this floor, compared to what we had at the beginning, this just looks worlds better from that smooth, kind of awkward, plain jungle wood floor. There's so much more depth and texture to it now, and I really like the way this looks. So I've just popped down here in a little bit more detail because I noticed this and I realized that I actually forgot to mention it in that bit I was talking about earlier. As well, when you're doing the jungle wood up the sides here, you're also going to want to do stuff like this, just replace a few of those floor blocks with jungle wood as well, and that's going to add even more variety and texture into these floors. So like I said, all that work we've done on the floor has gone a long way in getting this place lit up, but there are still some dark patches, particularly around the middle here, so you want to get even more lighting inside of this. So we're going to use lanterns and a few chains as well to achieve this. So around the center here, first thing, the most simple part of this is just placing a few lanterns randomly around the edges of the portals. And then coming up from the ceiling, from all of these different ceiling bits that we put in, we're going to have lanterns, and I know this is kind of hard to see. If I hold that, you might be able to see a bit better. We're going to have chains, hanging down at random lengths, so having like a chain at that length, chain over here, maybe make it a little bit shorter, just a short chain like that, and then around here, maybe like in the middle, we'll have like a really long chain. Just play around with it, see what you like. The point is you have lots of different chains hanging all the way around here at different lengths, and the lanterns are going to be hanging on the end of it like that, and same with all those other chains. The other place we want to have the lanterns is around these edges here, so kind of from places like that and there and all around the edge here and a bit higher up as well, so from there and up here and there and so on, all the way around the edges as well. And once we've done all of that, there's going to be so much more light in here, and we're not going to be so worried about mobs spawning and killing us. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? So you can see I've really gone to town with all these lanterns around the center, also plenty hanging around the edges there. And if we look at the floor now, there's hardly any dark patches. There's still one or two, but that's not too bad. It's much brighter in here. And if I zoom back out as well, I think all these lanterns make the whole place look so much more alive as well. So I'm really happy with this. I am going to say that that is now this whole bottom tier done. And we're going to go up and we're going to have a look at some of the top tier stuff now. And yes, I just realized that as I said top tier there, it made it sound like I was talking about like weapons in an RPG game or something. Just you guys know what I meant. Right, hang on, hold it, pause the video, right? Okay, you've paused, yeah? Okay, I need you guys to do something for me. Before we go back here and do any of that, I need you guys to do something. You're gonna go down in the comment section. Okay, everyone there, you done that? Now you're gonna write what percentage of my viewers you think are subscribed, okay? Give you a second. Yeah, you done that? Okay, now let's take a look. And what? 15%. 15%, guys. Come on, we can do better. We can do better. I know we can do better. So here's the deal. If you watch my videos, you enjoy my videos, consider subscribing because it's completely free. It doesn't cost you anything. And you know, you can always unsubscribe later. It's only a button. It's just down there. Yeah, down there. There's a button. You click it, you're subscribed. If you decide you don't actually like it, you click it again, you're unsubscribed. And that's it. Okay? That deal? Okay, cool. On with the video. So pretty much the first step to this upper tier of the base is to fill this here area in with grass. And what we want to do is put the grass at that height so there is a 1 block high edge, and then that covers this whole area. Now you can go ahead and straight away do this if you're doing this on creative, but if you're doing it on survival, there's one thing I'm going to recommend doing first. And what that is to come down here, come down all of these really dark bits down here and also across this bit which isn't dark yet, and just spam torches all over here and all the way down there, and just get this area down here as lit up as you possibly can, because as soon as you cover up that area with grass, it is going to get pitch black in here and it's going to get full of mobs. So get it all lit up and then come and do your grass. And once you've done all that, you're going to get something looking a little bit like this here. Now unfortunately I'm not on a jungle biome, so I don't have that nice vibrant green that Mumbo has, but I still think it looks pretty nice, and obviously if you are building this on a jungle biome, you'll have all those nice colours. Now if we come down here, you can see all those torches I put in, keeping it nice and lit up down there. And the last thing we're going to be working on in this episode is filling in this big gap here with the display, and that will actually complete the main outside of this base, and it will finally be completely solid. So the very first thing we're going to do with building this display is take some smooth stone, put it across the bottom like that, then build it all the way up the sides like so, and across the top and around, so that we completely ring this area off in smooth stone. So there you go. If I come back, quick reference for what that will look like. And then if we come back in, we're going to do that again, but like 1 level in. So we're going to go across like that, and then up and around again. And again, for a quick zoom out with what it will look like. We're going to keep on with the smooth stone now. Leave 2 blocks, put a block there, a block there, and then build those 2 both up so they go all the way up to the top. So once you've done that and you've got a shape looking like this, you're going to want to take some Blackstone Stairs and come into this central part here. Just stick any old block at the bottom there, and that can even be a temporary block. We're not going to need to keep it. Blackstone Stairs on top of it, and then so on, and you just continue this all the way on up to the top. You're then going to get yourself some Cobblestone Stairs and some redstone lamps. We're going to place our first pair of Cobblestone Stairs right there. We're going to come up and behind and place 2 bits of smooth stone like that, with more Cobblestone Stairs on top. We're then going to put 4 redstone lamps in a square, 2 pairs of cobblestone steps, another 4 redstone lamps, another 2 rows of steps, and so on all the way up to the top. So once you get to this point, it's lamps, stairs, lamps, stairs, in that pattern continuing all the way up to the top. So once you've done all that, assuming you got that pattern correct, you should have a setup that looks like this, with 6 of those lamps on each side, and the top one should just nicely touch the top of that. Now we're not quite done, because as you can see we have these little gaps here, so we're going to go behind this and we're going to fill those in. For filling those in, we're just going to take some stone bricks, put them all the way down the sides here on the inside where there's those gaps, and then on the outside, just give me a second, on the outsides there, and then there, and so on, wherever we have these gaps. And there you have it. Once you've done that, that is everything for this episode completed. I feel really good about the progress we've made. I feel like we've made a lot of progress in this video. Hopefully you do as well. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and let me know what you thought down in the comments. I love reading your comments. I love hearing your feedback, what you thought. So make sure you let me know those thoughts down there. Until next time, guys, I've been Matt, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.